assistance project to improve 805 kilometers of flood/rain affected roads for rehabilitation in numerous villages and towns covering thickly populated areas. Under the Sindh Water and Agriculture Transformation Project, the government of Sindh has registered 296,819 farmers with a target area of more than almost 2.1 million acres for wheat subsidy. This includes 234,000 farmers having land up to 12.5 acres and 62,812 farmers having land from 12.5 to 25 acres. The government of Sindh is also undertaking 2 critical human capital centered projects with the World Bank. These are the Strengthening Social Protection Delivery System in Sindh project, which will improve health and nutrition service and implement a conditional cash transfer program for pregnant women and mothers of child under 2 years of age during the first 1,000 days of life. The project will benefit about 1.3 million pregnant women and mothers of children aged under 2 years in 15 districts of Sindh. The Sindh Integrated Health and Population Project will rehabilitate and upgrade 392 government dispensaries, 97 rural health centers, 39 Tehsil headquarter hospitals, 20 public health and community midwife schools, and reconstruct fully damaged 121 basic health units. Government of Sindh extends its, this would not have been possible, whatever we have done. As we said, we worked very hard, but as you know, in order to get $1.2 billion from the IMF, the federal government has been working hard for the last several years. In just 3 months, 3 to 4 months, we were able to formulate projects and get approvals for almost $2 billion from the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. And I want, during this budget speech of 2023-24, extend my appreciation for Mr. Naji Ben Hassin, Country Director, World Bank. I believe I saw Abid sitting somewhere there. Thanks to you and your entire team for their unparalleled support in materializing the project for post-flood recovery and reconstruction. Sir, I'll also thank the Group Executive Director for Pakistan at World Bank, Washington, and ex-Finance Secretary of the Government of Sindh, Mr. Naveed Kamran Baloch, who helped us immensely during the approval process in Washington, D.C. We are also thankful to the unwavering support of the Asian Development Bank, the United Nations agencies, and all other international partners who supported the government's efforts during and after the devastating floods of 2022. Sir, even though we have accomplished a lot, much more is still required to be done. I'm thankful to the federal government for pleading the nation's case on all international forums. My cabinet colleagues, they worked overtime to ensure timely completion of all formalities. The Chief Secretary Sindh's role was instrumental in steering all the activities. Chairman PND Board and his entire team worked diligently in reorienting the annual development plan in the wake of floods and negotiating remarkable support from the development partners for flood emergency projects in record time. I also would like to appreciate the efforts of the Irrigation Department, Works and Services Department, Agriculture, Health, and substantial local resources for resilient recovery must continue to deal with the mammoth task of building back better in the aftermath of this climate catastrophe. Sir, I'll very briefly talk about the 2022-23 expenditure on the development side. As I told you, inshallah, our development expenditure will stand at a record 406 billion rupees for this current year 2022-23. This includes a provincial ADP expenditure of rupees 226 billion, district expenditure of ADP of rupees 20 billion, 147.8 billion of foreign project
assistance. Order in the house, aap baith jaye zara. You disturb na kare.
Rupees 12.5 billion for federal PSDP schemes. The provincial ADP of 2022-23 comprised of 4,158 schemes, including 253 billion for 2,506 ongoing schemes and 79 billion for 1,652 new schemes. Sir, this year, though we had the floods. We had huge inflation problems, and because of that, we had to revise our rate schedules, and the development process almost stopped for a few months because the contractors were not willing to work on the old rates, so we had to revise the rates. Despite that, in the history of the province of Sindh, we have completed the highest number of development schemes in this year of 2022-23. I think it's 762, I've forgotten the exact number. 772 or 762 schemes have been completed. Prior to this, the highest was again in 2017-18, but we've surpassed this year despite all the problems. So I'll just go straight to the next financial year. The provincial development portfolio for the year 2023-24 comprises 5,248 schemes, containing 3,311 ongoing schemes with provisions of 291.727 billion and 1,937 new schemes with provisions of 88.27 billion. So we are focused on completion of ongoing schemes for which 80% of the budget has been dedicated. The increased size of foreign assistance project is due to initiating new projects for rehabilitation and reconstruction of flood damaged infrastructure, as I told you. So I'll just, instead of the policy statement is here, I'll just tell you the major areas where we are doing the development. The Works and Services Department, we are going to spend 89.3 billion rupees on reconstruction of roads from the provincial ADP. I'm just talking about the provincial ADP here. The local government department has been allocated 62.5 billion rupees. The irrigation department has been allocated 35 billion rupees. School education department 16.5 billion. Health 19.7 billion. And all these details are in the budget book and also in my budget speech. So, I'd briefly like to talk about, as I said, 2023-24. I will tell the achievements of the Pakistan People's Party government in the last 4 years and then move on to the next year as to how we are going to take this forward, inshallah, in the next year. So beginning the next financial year will mark the end of the current tenure of the Pakistan People's Party government in Sindh. We began to build the province on foundations laid in the first tenure, and at this critical juncture, people recognize and are convinced that PPP's government has made untiring efforts to transform its outlook into a progressive province, Sindh into a progressive province of Pakistan. Overwhelming success of the Pakistan People's Party in the recent local government bodies elections bear ample testimony of our commitment to the noble cause of our forefathers. We are going to leave a legacy of fair play, equity and transparency. The occasion, though, fills us with pride, yet challenges us to face the stark reality of economic uncertainty staring at us. The story of last 5 years is filled with extraordinary happenings that brought unprecedented changes all around the world, mainly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Pakistan was no exception to it. The changes, both nationally and internationally, have direct bearing on the common man. Despite that, Government of Sindh vows to leave no stone unturned to ensure economic and political stability in the province, contributing its share in the common national effort, which is in line with values and vision of leadership of Pakistan People's Party. So I would like to briefly give the August House glimpses of performance of the Pakistan People's Party government during this current tenure. So education is the most essential investment and acknowledged worldwide as the most powerful agent of change. We aim at improving access to equitable, inclusive and quality education for all. We've earmarked an amount of 312 billion, both revenue and current and development expenditure. The highest goes to education, 312 billion rupees in the budget of 2023-24, representing a 7% increase over last year's budget of 292 billion. Budget of financial year 2023-24 will be utilized on the following activities. Undoubtedly, this year's distinguishing feature remained the recruitment of 58,000 qualified primary and middle school teachers purely on merit through a rigorous competitive testing and verification process by Sakkar IBA and the Education Department. All the teachers have been given pre-posting training and posted in schools according to a prescribed student-teacher ratio policy. In a significant move towards strengthening the education sector, another 2,582 positions have been created for the financial year 2023-24. Side by side, all new appointed primary teachers holding graduate degrees have been upgraded from BS9 to BS14, enhancing the career progression. In the realm of school upgrades, 57 primary institutions have been elevated to the middle schools, while 15 middle schools have been upgraded to secondary schools. In a similar vein, primary school teachers holding graduate degrees have been upgraded from BS9 to basic scale 14 to enhance their career progression. In addition, 150 secondary schools have been upgraded to higher secondary school. To support this, 892 new positions have been approved with a financial implication of rupees 846 million. For colleges, a substantial allocation of rupees 26.78 billion has been kept. This includes rupees 400 million for furniture and fixtures and rupees 425 million for maintenance and repair of college buildings. We are also in the process of recruiting 1,500 lecturers to the Sindh Public Service Commission. Additionally, we are making strides with 23 new colleges, creating 445 new positions and physical assets with a budget of rupees 403 million for the coming fiscal year. We are working on strengthening the Sindh Higher Education Commission, and 23.076 billion have been allocated for Sindh Higher Education Commission for the next financial year. Furthermore, the grant to all public sector universities have been substantially increased from 17.4 billion in the current financial year to rupees 25.2 billion in the next financial year. The Sindh Education Foundation, which is again our star performer, has done commendable work. We have increased its budgetary allocation from rupees 13.2 billion to rupees 15.6 billion in the next year. We have recently started a new initiative. The government of Sindh, through the foundation, has launched a new program named as Accelerated Digital Learning Program. Under this program, Foundation is partnering with Teach the World Foundation with an overarching objective of addressing the challenge of out-of-school children across Sindh, as well as to improve learning and socio-economic gains. The salient features of the joint intervention by SEF and Teach the World Foundation under Accelerated Digital Learning Program include total of 125 micro schools will be established targeting 12,500 learners across Sindh. The learning will be carried out on Android tablets having profile of each student with access to customized learning application using gamification and self-learning models. Government proposes rupees 710 million for the Accelerated Digital Learning Program through Sindh Education Foundation. Sir, I've seen the performance of this myself, and actually we did not start until they did a pilot project from their own funding. And the results that we saw were so promising that we've engaged with them, we are partnering with them, and as I said, 710 million rupees have been allocated for this, and the SEF is going to be administrating this. For distribution of free textbooks, 2.53 billion have been earmarked. In addition, rupees 1.55 billion will be invested towards non-operation of non-formal education centers to address this issue of out-of-school children. Projects of DEEP and Aspire, in order to bolster female literacy, we have allocated rupees 800 million for girl stipends and rupees 140 million for special children. Through the successful negotiations with the European Union, the government has secured budgetary support under the European Union Development Education through enhanced program DEEP with an enhanced allocation. The budget now stands at rupees 8 billion, out of which rupees 5 billion are allocated for implementation of education sector plan under DEEP and 3 billion for restoration of flood damaged schools. Similarly, additional support has been obtained from European Union under the program Action to Strengthen Performance for Inclusive and Responsive Education, abbreviated as Aspire, increasing the area allocation from rupees 2.16 billion to rupees 4.14 billion. We have also taken over 5,125 NCHT and BCHS teachers from the federal government and will be providing rupees 1.5 billion annually for their salaries. We are continuing giving grants to public school, and grant and aid to public schools has been increased from rupees 140 million to around 400 million. Furthermore, significant rupees 5 billion to rupees 4.25 million have been set aside for repair and maintenance of schools and colleges respectively. STEFTA's grant for next year is going to be rupees 2 billion for technical education. I come to health, which has been the key performer in the province of Sindh in the last 5 years, and not only in the province of Sindh, I think we are recognized nationally, not only nationally but internationally, for the services that we have provided, especially in tertiary health. Health investment project societies and boost economy with healthy society. Budget estimates for 2023-24 for health services have been proposed to as rupees 214.547 billion for non-development, against a budget estimate of 196 billion for the current financial year. We have spent more than 233 billion in current financial year to provide state-of-the-art healthcare infrastructure and easily accessible health facilities to general public and running programs of prevention and control of disease. I will skip, the details here. I'll just go to, what we're doing with other organizations, mostly Sindh government organizations. The grant to SIUT.
Please order in the house. आप लोग बैठ जाएं या बाहर चले जाएं.
The grant to Sindh Institute of Urology and Transplant has been increased to rupees 15.316 billion for the next financial year. This is an increase of 5 billion rupees over current year's allocation. The funds will be utilized in financial year 2023-24 for installation, purchase of 2 robotic surgery systems, one in BIUT Shahid Benazirabad and one system in SIUT Larkana, Mehrunisa Medical Complex, Karachi, and Sakhar Medical Complex, SIUT. We've given a provision of rupees 6 billion for Peer Abdul Qadir Shah Jilani Institute of Medical Sciences, Gampad, including 845 million for procurement of linear accelerator with integrated high-field MRI for treatment of cancer patients, and rupees 1 billion for procurement of 1 robotic surgical system for treatment of poor patients. For bone marrow transplantation and kidney center, 60 million have been kept for the bone marrow transplant at Dow University Health Sciences, and rupees 200 million will be provided as grant and aid to Kidney Center, Karachi. To Indus Hospital, we are increasing the grant for next year to rupees 4 billion, and in addition, for the expansion of the hospital, we have enhanced the grant in the next financial year to rupees 4 billion. In addition, looking at our public-private partnership experience and our success, we have recently teamed up with another non-governmental organization, the Children of Adam, and constructing a neuropsychiatry hospital, the first of its kind in Karachi, and the land for this has been given by this. It's been purchased by the organization. We've given the land. We've also given some seed money, and they're in the process of the construction has started. And inshallah, we are working with them to give them some hospitals and give them the new hospital that they're building. The huge hospital is going to be in Gadab. They also wanted something in the center of the city, and we're looking at an area in Korangi to give them this, give them this land so they can provide this service. To Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center, an amount of 7.196 billion along with 2,713 posts have been earmarked in current financial year 2022-23. Besides, following measures have been adopted for providing free of cost quality healthcare service to deprived and marginal segments of society. The bedded capacity of Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center has been enhanced from 1,100, we doubled it to 2,000, more than doubled it actually, 2,208. Hiring of 1,925 well-qualified and experienced senior doctors, staff nurses and skilled technicians to run the hospital 24/7. Budgetary provisions for financial year 2023-24 have been increased. I can see all my ministers are looking at schemes and not listening to the budget speech. budgetary provision of financial year 2023-24 have been increased from rupees 7.196 billion to rupees 11.217 billion, along with the total of 4,258 posts. Funds will be utilized entirely for the following activities. Sir, the government of Sindh, the province of Sindh, the JPMC, had the unique distinction of providing state-of-the-art cyber knife radiation facility at the Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Center. They did not have one, but two cyber knives. And it is the only place on the planet where this service is provided free of cost. And while speaking to them, the first machine that I bought was more than 10 years old. We just celebrated 10 years and they wanted a new machine, and the government of Sindh has given more than ₹1 billion, and this, inshallah ta'ala, this new cyber knife machine, this robot, will be purchased. I've told them before 14th of August this year so that we can go and inaugurate it. And this facility which the government of Sindh gives, if you go anywhere else on the planet, you will spend anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 for treatment, depending on how many sessions you do. And here in the province of Sindh, along with the Patient Aid Foundation, the government of Sindh is providing this service free of cost, not only to the residents of Sindh, to the residents of Pakistan, but several expatriates have come, expat Pakistanis have come here and got treated in this facility. The grant of Patient Aid Foundation at JPMC has been increased from rupees 240 million to rupees 640 million in the next financial year. A recurring grant of 2 billion has been allocated for the robotic surgical system, the cyber knife system, because we bear all the operational costs of it. Additional 180 slots of postgraduates have been created at the cost of rupees 225 million. Additional 165 slots of student nurses have been created at the cost of rupees 59.4 million. Other grants include grants of 12.75 billion to PPHI, which takes care of most of the primary health services, and our health department is constantly monitoring the PPHI work, and wherever we feel that there is any slowness in service, the health department is monitoring that. The grant to Shaheed Motarma Benazir Bhutto Institute of Trauma, Karachi, has been enhanced from rupees 2.4 billion to rupees 3.1 billion. Funds of rupees 600 million have been allocated to Trauma Center in Larkana. The grant of Syed Abdullah Shah Institute of Medical Sciences, Seven Sharif, has been enhanced from rupees 1.35 billion to rupees 1.85 billion. Funds amounting to rupees 750 million as grant to Sindh Institute of Endoscopy and Gastroenterology at Ruth 4 Civil Hospital, Karachi. And I'll talk about this. Just a month ago, less than a month ago now, I think, we inaugurated the Sindh Institute of Endoscopy and Gastroenterology at the Civil Hospital. And if anybody has not gone to see this facility, please go there. I'm grateful to Dr. Saad. I don't know if he is here today or not. I did invite him to come over. We have created, the government of Sindh, along with the private donors. As I said, we've had a stellar record in public-private partnerships, especially in the health sector. We conceived this project. Dr. Saad came to me and he promised that whatever the government of Sindh gives, he will endeavor to match that from the private sector, and he was able to do it. And I believe 800 million rupee facility has been created, and for its operation, starting next year, we will be giving a grant of 750 million rupees, so that all endoscopic, I'm not an expert, I'm sure Dr. Azra, when she gives a budget speech, will talk about it. Again, these facilities are nowhere else in Pakistan. They are as good as any facility in any developed country of the world. And I suggest that people go and see this as to what the government of Sindh has been able to do. For dialysis of poor patients, we are giving a total grant of 205 million rupees to different institutes, different dialysis centers throughout the province, and we give grants to them. Sir, I'll just skip the vertical programs. We're giving free treatment to thalassemia patients. I'll talk about the child health services a little. In the financial year 2023-24, the Sindh government has allocated significant funding to ensure free healthcare for children in the province. Following budgetary provisions have been kept in 2023-24 for child health care services. A provision of 1.95 billion has been kept for 3 children healthcare institutes. Under the Accelerated Action Plan in the agriculture sector, we are committing rupees 153 million to combat child stunting and malnutrition. Grant to Sindh Institute of Child Health and Neonatology has been increased from rupees 200 million to rupees 300 million. The director I see is right there, Dr. Jamal. And again, if somebody wants to see what the Sindh government is doing, go to the Sindh Institute of Child Health Hospital in Kurangi. Under one roof, we have more emergency beds than all the private hospitals combined in the province of Sindh, under one roof. So we are very proud of what we've done. We also need people to go. See, people are, and everybody must be thinking, why does Pakistan People's Party win the elections in Sindh? We win elections in Sindh because our leadership is committed, our leadership guides us constantly, and the aim of the leadership is कि शहीद जुल्फ़िकार अली भुट्टो और मोहतरमा शहीद बेनज़ीर भुट्टो का जो फ़लसफ़ा है कि अपने आवाम की खिदमत करनी है, वो जारी रखते हैं. That is the reason, कोई और जादू नहीं है. Under performance-based agreements, we have outsourced operation of children emergency rooms to Child Life Foundation in 9 government hospitals, including Dr. Ruth Faw Civil Hospital, National Institute of Child Health, Sindh Government Hospital, Kurangi 5, Abbasi Shaheed Hospital, Karachi, Liari General Hospital, Karachi, People's Medical College, Nawab Shah, Chandka Medical College Hospital, Larkano, Ghulam Ahmad Mahar Medical College, Sakkar, and Liaquat University of Medical and Health Sciences, Jamshoro. I talked about NICH a little. The NICH Karachi for National Institute of Child Health Karachi, an amount of 1.758 billion, along with a total of 1,235 posts, was earmarked in the current financial year. Following measures have been taken. The bedded capacity has been increased from 443 to 553. Hiring of 310 well-qualified and experienced senior doctors, staff, nurses, and skilled technicians to run the hospital service 24/7. For the year 2023-24, budgetary provisions have been increased from rupees 1.758 billion to rupees 2.067 billion, along with a total of 1,262 posts. For medical education, we are providing an allocation of rupees 13.252 billion in the next financial year. We have also enhanced stipend rates and increased slots of postgraduates and house job officers in the universities of Sindh. I will just, because here I'll just skip some other slides here. I'll talk about the Sindh Emergency Service Rescue 1122. Sindh government took the initiative to develop Sindh Emergency Rescue Service to facilitate the people dwelling in remote areas having restricted access to standard medical facilities. Sindh government has secured IDA grant to establish an integrated and independent emergency response service in Sindh with a dedicated helpline number 1122. The service has been operational since May 2022 and is currently providing service across 8 districts with a fleet of 203 ambulances and a fully equipped command and control center. So, sir, I talked about the health sector. As I said, we're very proud of what we've done in health, and it's going to be a challenge even for us to sustain this and continue this in the years to come. The next sector that I'll talk about is transport and mass transit. For the next financial year, there's a 92% increase in the budget of transport and mass transit from 6.9 billion to rupees 13.4 billion. Government of Sindh is committed to provide safe and modern transport facilities at an affordable price to all citizens. In line with this, we have provided funds of rupees 6.1 billion for Sindh intra-district bus service this year. As an antidote to hiking fuel and fare prices, a one-time fare subsidy of rupees 247 million has been provided to Sindh intra-district people's bus service to be passed on to consumers. A provision of rupees 2 billion has been kept for operation and maintenance of the bus service. In phase 2 of the project, a allocation of rupees 10 billion has been kept for inclusion of fleet of an additional 500 diesel hybrid buses. To facilitate employees of Sindh Secretariat, 3 new routes will start from next year with a provision of 6 billion. So 500 new diesel hybrid buses, we've kept provision in the budget for that. Government of Sindh is establishing a modern terminal at Karachi, Thatta, Badin and Miro Khan. In the first phase, the construction of bus terminals at Thatta Road and Miro Khan is under process. We are doing the BRT Red Line project in Karachi with the Asian Development Bank. It will be a state-of-the-art third-generation BRT system with a development expenditure of rupees 78 billion. The project is a zero-subsidy project, and 250 bio-hybrid buses will be provided. Will provide service to more than 350,000 passengers per day. Additionally, we are also spending rupees 2.9 billion to improve the drainage along the corridor, and more than 25,000 trees will be planted in addition to landscaping works of worth park rupees 63.4 million along the corridor. I talked about the People's Bus Service. You must have all seen the red bus services. They are now operating in Karachi, Hyderabad, Sakkar and Larkano. And inshallah ta'ala we'll expand them to all the other cities of the province. Mr. Speaker, commencement of People's Bus Service has been the hallmark of current year's achievement. Government of Sindh has successfully launched People's Bus Service in Karachi, Hyderabad, Sakkar and Larkano to facilitate general public, and overwhelming response has been received. There are 9 routes operating in Karachi, including 2 EV bus routes. The pink bus service, and I'll talk more about it when I talk about women empowerment. I'll just do that. Beside this, we have routes operating in Larkana, Sakkar and Hyderabad. He remembered it now in transportation. I'll talk about women development and empowerment, keeping in mind the inspirational words of the father of the nation, and I quote, "No nation can rise to the height of glory unless your women are side by side with you. We believe in integration of women into the provincial economy by improving their status, by inclusion of women in development planning and decision making, as well as for the design of policies and programs that address the specific needs and rights of women. Accordingly, budget estimates for financial year 2023-24 has been proposed at rupees 75 million against last year's allocation of rupees 644 million. A provision of 5 million has been kept for the Benazir Women Agriculture Workers Program. The program will improve the agricultural output and livelihood standards of rural women associated with agriculture farming. An allocation of rupees 300 million has been kept for safe houses for women in the coming financial year. A provision has been kept to establish support fund for female and juvenile prisoners. The pink bus service, as I said, women play a vital role in national progress. In recognition of the pivotal role in provincial economic uplift and to provide them with a hassle-free travelling experience, Government of Sindh has started a pink bus service for women exclusively, which is under operation on route 1, 2 and 10 in Karachi. Beside one route each is operating in Larkana, Sakkar and Hyderabad, and inshallah we'll increase the service in coming years. For empowerment of persons with disabilities, here again the Government of Sindh leads the other provinces, and we are very, very proud of our work that we have done in providing for empowering of persons with disabilities. So the reports of the World Health Organization reflects that 15% of the world populations are persons with disabilities. They are found to be socially and economically discriminated segments of a society. Sindh government is determined to extend maximum support through imparting vocational education, IT skills, and supplying assistive technology with artificial intelligence applications to empower them to contribute in developmental process. To achieve this noble cause, we have kept a provision of rupees 6.1 billion for the year 2023-24 against a budget of rupees 3.4 billion in the current financial year 2022-23. The allocation for this sector has been almost doubled. In current financial year, we have provided rupees 879.5 million for differently abled persons, organizations working in the field of special education such as Family Education Service Foundation, CARTS, DEVA, NDF, DWA, and now PDP. Moreover, funds of rupees 250 million have been kept for differently abled persons under Pro-Poor program, and rupees 75 million have been provided for adopt a special education school program. For the next financial year, the amount will be utilized. 358 million have been kept to purchase pick and drop vehicles for our special children. A grant of over 1 billion has been earmarked for different organizations having experience in its special education. An amount of 1 billion have been proposed for differently abled person organization under Pro-Poor program. An amount of rupees 400 million has been kept for purchasing assistive devices for special children persons. A provision of 100 million is earmarked for establishing database of differently abled persons in Sindh. Rupees 75 million have been earmarked for adopt a special education school program. Rupees 50 million for capacity building and training of teachers of DPD. 10 million for teachers manager training at special education teachers training academy, Jamshoro. And here I'd like to say that we, as said, there are grants to private sector organizations, and we are working very well with a number of organizations. We've got our own CRs for autism. We are working with KBTC, and I see Senator Hasib here. And we're working with HANDS. We're working with now DPD. We are working with the Down Syndrome Society of Pakistan. And together we are trying to cater for these special children, to empower them. Very quickly, livestock and fisheries. The budget for next year for livestock has been proposed at 10.9, almost 11 billion rupees. And this includes 150 million for newly established Livestock Breeding Services Authority, rupees 120 million for holding Sindh Livestock Expo event, and rupees 1.88 billion for implementation of the accelerated action plan in the livestock sector for addressing stunting and malnutrition. In the forestation sector, a provision of 2.78 billion has been earmarked in the budget estimates for non-development expenditure related to forest and wildlife against 2.45 in the current financial year. It includes 368 million for conservancy and development of new forest nurseries. Sindh government is committed to unconditional contribution to a global drive for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We will be able to earn $200 to 220 million, equivalent to about rupees 63 billion of carbon credits over the next 2 decades for its efforts to expand mangrove forest. Under the nationally determined contribution, NDC, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in 2021, Sindh government will work on sectors of energy, industry, forest, agriculture and transport to reduce its share of greenhouse emissions based on population, that is 55 tons of CO2 equivalents by 2035. We are already implementing 2 Indus Delta mangrove projects, the Delta Blue Carbon 1 and Delta Blue Carbon 2, in collaboration with private sector to generate $4.7 million in revenues of Sindh. We are the only province which has been able to get carbon credits, and 14.7 million have already been 14.7 million. And as I said, over the next couple of decades, we, inshallah, will get about $250 million from carbon credits. Religious harmony, special measures have been taken to promote religious harmony in the province. Government of Sindh extends utmost support and financial assistance, irrespective of their faith and associations, to maintain congenial environment of equality and brotherhood. Budget estimate 2023-24 bear witness to this effect with a provision of rupees 1.52 billion. A provision of rupees 1 billion has been set aside as a grant in aid for financial assistance and welfare of non-Muslim communities, coupled with rupees 50 million kept aside for Pakistan Hindu Council. In addition, a lump sum of rupees 250 million has been designated for renovation, repair and maintenance of buildings and structures of minority worship places and installation of surveillance equipments in the next financial year 2023-24, so that they may exercise the religious rituals in a pleasant atmosphere. Law and order is the first responsibility of the government. We have enhanced budget allocations for the Home Department for the upcoming financial year, reflecting our commitment to ensuring peace and security in Sindh. By allocating resources effectively, we aim to provide law enforcement and security agencies with the necessary tools and support to protect our province and maintain law and order. Sindh government has carefully prioritized allocation of funds of rupees 143.56 billion for next financial year, with 15% increase over last year's allocation for following strategically significant activities. In budget 23-24, we've kept 15.5 billion each for prisons, policy and management boards for strategic improvements. Moreover, we are earmarking 463.4 million for strengthening the prisons department's technical capabilities. In order to better equip Sindh Police, we have allocated an amount of 2.796 billion in the next financial year for procurement of sophisticated field, military-grade weapons and surveillance equipment. A substantial amount of 3.569 billion have also been allocated for procurement of police vehicles to effectively serve and protect our citizens. To strengthen the specialized police department, funds amounting to rupees 846 million for special branch, 868 million for the counter-terrorism department have been allocated for fiscal year 2023-24. In current political, volatile and socially polarized conditions, agitation and mob movements are commonplace. However, to avoid disruptions for the commuters and general public, crowd management is essential. In the 2023-24 budget, we are establishing a 3,446-person crowd management unit to deal effectively with riots and expanding the rapid response force to a total of 4,127. An amount of 81.48 million has been allocated for both initiatives in the upcoming financial year. An amount of 1.57 billion has been allocated in budget estimates of 23-24 for automatic number plate recognition cameras at key transit points across Sindh for improved security and safer commute. In our commitment to welfare for police force, rupees 272 million have been kept for medical reimbursement for all police personnel for the current fiscal year. For addressing problems of police trainees, fund of rupees 360 million have been proposed for feeding diet charges in next financial year, replacing the previous self-paid system. In order to strengthen our justice system, we are establishing the Sindh Forensic Science Laboratory for provision of precise and timely forensic results for effective investigation. Funds of rupees 134.5 million have been allocated in the next financial year for its successful functionality and operation. A provision of rupees 22 billion has been kept in the budget for law and parliamentary affairs against provision of 20.38 this year. A provision of 94 million has been kept for next financial year.
Please order in the house. आप लोग बैठ जाएं नीचे या बाहर चले जाएं. Don't disturb the house.
A provision of 94 million has been kept for next financial year for newly established High Court circuit at Mirpur Khas to enable the population of Central Sindh to have easy access to apex courts. Besides this, funds of rupees 71 million have been kept for newly established sessions courts, civil court, family courts and other district attorney, district Sijawal with budgetary allocation of rupees 59.9 million in the annual budget of 2023-24. For legal aid assistance to people to contribute towards the social and economic transformation of Sindh province and to assert and develop rights of the underprivileged and marginalized communities across Sindh and contribute to the development of human rights jurisprudence, an amount of rupees 100 million has been allocated through budget estimate of 2023-24 for grant of legal aid assistance to downtrodden, poor, needy victims of human rights violations. In order to provide speedy and inexpensive administrative justice to masses at their doorsteps and to increase population and expansion of Karachi city, 3 new regional offices of provincial ombudsman have been established in districts of Kyamadi, Korangi and in district Sangad with a budgetary provision of rupees 87 million, 29 million each out of the overall budget estimate of 823 million in the current financial year. So irrigation, Sindh has one of the largest irrigation systems in the country. It faced colossal losses in the last rain and floods, which now demands extra funding in the next financial year. Therefore, significant amount of rupees 25 billion, apart from what we are getting under the FERB program, has been kept in budget estimates. It includes rupees 9 billion for silt clearance, rupees 5 billion for overall repairs and maintenance system, and rupees 750 million for salinity control and reclamation project. So we have allocated rupees 16 million for the payment of water utilization cess for Rabi and Kharif season to River System Authority, reflecting a commitment to responsible water use in compliance with national regulations. Although Sindh is presently facing 40% water shortage, however, Sindh expects federal government to understand the serious concerns over inclusion of controversial projects of Greater Thal Canal Phase 2 and Chaubara Branch Canal Phase 2 in ethnic, overriding the forums of CCI and violating the 1991 Water Apportionment Accords. The provincial government of Sindh, the irrigation department, has been contesting this in the ethnic, and we will continue contesting and ensure that we get our fair share of water from the rivers of Pakistan. Now, I'll just list the next few up. The agriculture sector, agriculture engineering sector. I'll just say, tell you that we are going to provide 1,258 agriculture implements to growers on 50% subsidy, installation of 941 regular and solar powered tube wells at subsidized cost, installation of 10 cold storage units, development of 10,795 hectares land through bulldozer operation, installation of 25 solar submersible pumps for Tharparkar, 259 watercourses of additional lining have already been improved, additional lining of up to 50% watercourses under improvement already completed under CIAP project, 74 farms high efficiency irrigation system installed, 5,000 kitchen garden kits provided, and 35 farmer field schools established. We have kept rupees 7.87 billion in the public health engineering department for provision of clean drinking water. The government of Sindh is determined to make sure that all its reverse osmosis and ultrafiltration plants are operational, and rupees 228.417 million have been allocated to ensure the continued operation and maintenance of the 14 MTD ultrafiltration plants in Nawabshah City, District Shaheed Benazirabad. In the sports and recreation departments, Sindh government has always facilitated the talented youth of the province to mark their indelible impression countrywide and internationally. We recognize the importance of sports and recreational activities in developing a healthy mind. Fortunately, majority of our population consists of youth. We need to capitalize on this vital human resource and provide them opportunities to strive and excel in all fields of life. Therefore, the budget provision for activities relating to sports has been proposed at rupees 1.83 billion for next year. I'd also like to inform the August House just recently, a boy from Larkana climbed Mount Everest, and the government of Sindh had sponsored him, and he, from the peak of Mount Everest, he thanked Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and the government of Sindh for the help that has been provided. So our youth has the potential, we just have to support them. Culture and tourism, to further promote Sindh's rich cultural heritage, support literary activities, and to conserve our archaeological sites and monuments, a provision of 7.5 billion has been kept in the next financial year, which is a 24% increase from rupees 6.5 billion in the current financial year. Besides, a provision of 32.543 million has been kept to establish 7 new public libraries in Sindh. These libraries will be located in Latifabad, Hyderabad, Pithoro, Sijawal, Kambar City, Hyderabad, Kotri, and District Umarkot. Food security, we did a Ramzan package where through the Benazir income support program, as I told you, the gift that President Asif Ali Zardari had given to the nation of the Benazir income support program gives us a vehicle to quickly reach the people, and through this vehicle, to the Benazir income support program, we were able to give a targeted subsidy to 7.9 million low-income families of rupees 2,000 during the month of Ramzan to get flour at 50% the price at 65 rupees per mond. I'll just skip the next few pages. The PPP projects, the public-private partnership projects are, we got 2 or 3, actually several pages on the public-private partnership project, but I'll just quickly summarize that the government of Sindh is ranked 6th in all of Asia in PPP projects. we are only one of the 2 sub-national governments which has been ranked by The Economist magazine. And we rank higher than Pakistan. Pakistan is ranked at number 12 in PPP projects, and the province of Sindh is ranked at number 6. And this initiative came under the visionary leadership of President Asmali Zardari. During his tenure in 2008, he started the public-private partnership unit. My predecessor, my mentor, Kamilisha Saab is here, and he initiated this project with the first project of Hyderabad Mirpur Khas dual carriageway, and we've never looked back since then. We are building 2 bridges under public-private partnership. One is complete, the other one is under construction, though we've got some law and order problems there, but despite that, we'll inshallah complete that quickly. We've done hospitals, we've done power projects, we've done education and health service facilities. We've done road projects, the Karachi Thatta dual carriageway. We've done water supply projects. We've excelled in public-private partnership. And apart from that, we've got a framework under which we, as I said, we do service delivery through our public-private partnership program. And we've had a very large success in this. I'll quickly talk about environment and alternate green revolution. The budget estimates 2023-24 environment and energy related has been kept at rupees 46.1 billion, depicting a 46% increase over last year's allocation of 31.45 billion. A provision of 50 million has been kept for the Sindh Green Fund for the fiscal year 2023-24. These funds will be employed to maintain, renovate, rehabilitate our public parks, ensuring that these spaces continue to serve as green lungs for our urban areas and peaceful retreat for our citizens. Government is focused to combat energy crisis by using alternate energy resources. We have abundance of solar energy which may be utilized to solarize buildings and installations. So far, 1,180 villages have been electrified and energized at the cost of rupees 1.3 billion. We plan to install solar potential measuring mass at 6 different locations, help solarize 669 government schools in 10 districts, that is Kambar Shadadkot, Dadu, Shikarpur, Shahid Benazirabad, Ladkana, Tharparkar, Umarkot, Sangat, Badin and Sijawal, 6 prisons, 180 primary health facilities and 7 pumping stations in district Tharparkar. In addition, we are giving free electricity to the consumers who consume 100 units or less in the Taluk of Islam Court from the government of Sindh. Their electricity bill is paid by the government of Sindh. The government of Sindh is committed to provision of efficient and management energy resources in the province. For the fiscal year 2023-24, we have dedicated a significant amount of rupees 41.5 billion against last year's provision of 28 billion for payment to HESCO, SEPCO, K-Electric, local councils, KWSP and other government departments. Sir, I'll just skip the next few pages. I'll talk about population and social welfare protection. The government of Sindh is committed to fostering a conducive environment and providing substantial opportunities to promote social progress, development and welfare for underserved residents of Sindh. In line with this mission, in current year 2022-23, we have provided rupees 10 million for establishment of drug control and rehabilitation unit. Moreover, rupees 40 million has been provided for trust orphanages Prem Nagar and Tharparkar. Likewise, rupees 15.5 million have been provided for Khoja Isna Shri Jamaat. Budget estimates for year 2023-24 for social welfare and protection activities have been pitched at rupees 5.69 billion. These funds will be utilized on the following activities in the year 23-24. On the other hand, budget estimate for welfare activities stand at 6.5 billion, which include rupees 900 million allocated for provision of contraceptives for family planning centers in Sindh. Fund amounting to rupees 172.6 million have been earmarked for leprosy KMC hospital in Mangopeet, and rupees 94.3 million have been allocated for the youth development center at Dil Goat Malir. To assist in financial sustainability of impoverished artisans, a grant in aid of rupees 50 million has been earmarked for Apwa Rana Liaquat Craftsmen's Colony Welfare Project at Karachi, coupled with rupees 100 million each for SOS homes and drug addict rehabilitation centers. In recognition of the valuable contribution to society, the Sadiq Foundation in Karachi will receive an enhanced grant in aid of rupees 20 million. Similarly, the Sindh Social Welfare Council in Karachi will benefit from an increased grant aid of rupees 30 million. Similarly, rupees 1.545 billion has been kept for various social welfare protection initiatives in Karachi, Dadu and Khairpur. Sindh government, I'll briefly talk about information technology. Sindh government has taken special measures to equip all departments with advanced technologies to bring them at par with sister provinces. Budget estimates for 2023-24 for this sector stand at rupees 1.24 billion against current year's allocation of rupees 361 million. Funds will be utilized for implementation of following activities. The security surveillance cameras at worship places of minorities. The scheme will continue in fiscal year 23-24. The project involves establishment of modern high-tech surveillance and monitoring system at each place of worship. Larger locations will have 16 or more cameras as per requirement. Medium-sized location will have 8 cameras and small only 4 cameras. All video cameras will be cable connected to a central room located in premises of the office. We are doing e-portal for all government departments of Sindh. We have money for the Sindh Digital Technology Board. We've introduced the Sindh Cloud First policy under the Information Science and Technology Department. We are undertaking Google career certification programs. So a lot is being done in information technology, and we'd really like to move. In Archive and Preservation Department, the funds of rupees 38.75 million have been provided in development scheme for our activities. It will be completed in financial year 2024. This is a preservation of precious and sacred manuscripts. We are doing digitalization and web-based cataloging, and rupees 30 million has been allocated for that. Sindh Cultural Mart at Sindh Archives Department, 25.6 million were provided in the current financial year for this. This scheme will, inshallah, be completed this year. I'll just, I have the industries and small and medium enterprises. The Works and Services Department, I told you, we are, inshallah, going to build roads worth almost 150 billion rupees in the next financial year. We've got the funds available. Apart from that, we've got about 20 billion rupees, a little less than that, from the federal government on 4 very important roads, and inshallah work will start on that. For information, advertisement and policy, budget estimate of 23-24 for relating to information advertisement policy have been proposed to be rupees 9.47 billion. A provision of 62.13 million has been kept for broadcast and social media monitoring services through NTC platform. Moreover, provision of 252 million has been allocated as grant and aid endowment funds for various press clubs and deserving journalists. Besides, 55 million rupees have been earmarked as grant and aid for Sindh Information Commission. Sir, there are lots of fiscal measures that we've taken for collection of property tax by local councils. We've devolved that to the local councils, and we've already started seeing very good results of that. We've got collection of taxes through alternate delivery channels and the sales tax on service. We are using this. So, I won't superannuation pension. We've kept about 20 billion rupees against current year's allocation for that. I will not bother you. Debt servicing and interest payments, the local financing. I will just skip all this, and I also skip the fiscal governance response because they are all listed in the paper, in the speech, written speech. I will, before I get to the end of my speech, I will like to talk about certain fiscal monetary relief measures to neutralize the effects of soaring double-digit inflation. So before concluding my presentation today, I would like to reveal some of the relief measures adopted in next year's budget 2023-24 for the people of Sindh. We are going to increase salaries of our employees from grade 1 to 16. An increase of 35% is proposed. For grade 17 and above, 30% is proposed. And for pensioners, 17.5%. मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ ना, मेरी जबान है. ये आखिर में डिसाइड होता है ना, इसलिए रह जाता है इसमें. मैं दोबारा उर्दू में कह रहे हैं बताएं, और मैं कुछ और भी बताना चाहूँगा अगर आप سب تامل سے سنیں. ہم 35% سیلریز بڑھا رہے ہیں گریڈ 1 سے 16 تک کے امپلائیز کی, 30% بڑھا رہے ہیں گریڈ 17 سے اوپر کی, اور 17.5% پینشنرز کی. یہ جو انکریز ہے آپ دیکھیں گے یہ وہی ہے جو فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے کل اناؤنس کیا ہے. لیکن میں آپ کو کچھ بتانا چاہتا ہوں. پچھلے 5 سال, پہلے سال میں یعنی 2018-19 میں 19-20 میں ہم نے گریڈ 1 سے 15 تک کی 15% بڑھائی تھی سیلری, فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے 10% بڑھائی تھی. اگلے سال ہم نے 10% بڑھائی اور فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے کتنی بڑھائی؟ 0. یہ مشہور گورنمنٹ جو تھی نا, اس سے اگلا سال ابھی بھی وہی گورنمنٹ تھی, ہم نے 20% بڑھائی اور انہوں نے 10% بڑھائی. پھر پچھلے سال گورنمنٹ چینج ہوئی, ہم نے بھی 15%, فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے بھی 15%, اور اس سال فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے بھی 35% اور ہم نے بھی 35%. اگر آپ ان 5 سال کا ٹوٹل لیں گے, آپ کو بتاؤں ہماری سیلری ہماری امپلائیز کی جو گریڈ 1 سے 15 تک کے وہ 188% بڑھی ہے. سوری 188% بڑھی ہے فیڈرل گورنمنٹ کی, اور ہماری بڑی ہے 236%. یہ فرق ہے پاکستان پیپل. اور آپ نے دیکھا جیسے ہی پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی فیڈرل گورنمنٹ میں آئی, وہاں پہ بھی پچھلے سال بھی 15% انکریز اور اس سال بھی 35% انکریز ہوئی ہے. تو یہ ہال مارک ہے پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی کا کہ ہم سوچتے ہیں. اس کے ساتھ ساتھ جو منیمم ویج ہے اس کے بارے میں بھی میں کچھ بتانا چاہوں گا. ہم نے پچھلے سال منیمم ویج 25,000 کی تھی, 17.5 سے 25 کی تھی رائٹ. پچھلے سال فیڈرل گورنمنٹ ریلکٹنٹ تھی, لیکن وی اسٹوڈ آور گراؤنڈ, اور ہم نے کہا تھا, اور میاں شہباز شریف صاحب نے اپنی پہلی تقریر میں اس کو 25,000 کیا تھا. ہمیں پرابلمز ہوئے تھے اس لیے کہ اس وقت ہم نے ٹائم لگا تھا اس کو امپلیمنٹ کرنے میں, لیکن امپلیمنٹ ہو گئی. ہم نے آج کیبنٹ میٹنگ ہوئی, فیڈرل گورنمنٹ نے اس کو بڑھا کے 32,000 کر دیا ہے. ہم نے یہ فیصلہ کیا ہے اور یہ پروپوزل ہم دے رہے ہیں کہ obviously یہ میرے کچھ انڈسٹریز کے دوست بھی میرے خیال ادھر آئے ہوئے ہیں, بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں. مجھے پتہ ہے آپ کو اتنی پسند نہیں آئے گی بات, لیکن میں آپ کو ہمیشہ کہتا ہوں امپلائیز کو پیسے دیں گے, آپ کی ثواب بھی ملے گا, پروڈکشن بھی بڑھے گی آپ کی. بیٹھے جاوید سارے. تو جتنی تنخواہ ہم اپنے گریڈ 1 سے 15 تک کے امپلائیز کی بڑھا رہے ہیں یعنی 35%, ہم ریکویسٹ کریں گے اور میں لیبر منسٹر کو کہوں گا اس کو کریں کہ 35% بڑھائی جائے اور منیمم ویج 33,750 روپے ہو. 32,000 نہیں, 33,750 ہو. جتنی اس جو یہ غریب حکومت ہے اتنا بڑھا رہی ہے, کم از کم اتنا تو آپ بھی بڑھائیں نا 35% اگلے سال کے لیے. تو آئی ہوپ MPS کچھ نہیں.
اصل میں نند کمار کی وہ تھی, ایک ڈریم تھی کہ شاید نند کمار نے اپنے انٹرسٹ کی بات صرف کی, سیلریز کتنی بڑھے. آپ کی کمپنی کے لیے چیف منسٹر صاحب, آپ کی کمپنی کے لیے وی ہیو اے ٹیمپرری لیڈر آف دی اپوزیشن وتھ یو سو دیٹ آپ کی کمپنی رہے. ٹیمپرری ہم نے ان کو بٹھایا ہے ادھر.
Sir, I will conclude. I know it's been almost 2 hours that I've been on my feet, and I'm very grateful to all of you. It's been after a very long time that I've been able to make my speech without disturbance. I remember the first year of my speech. آپ کو میں دے رہا ہوں نا, آپ میں دے رہا ہوں, میں کہہ رہا ہوں مجھے اپنا پہلا سال یاد ہے یہ اس جگہ پہ 4 فٹ دور کھڑے ہو کے, اور جب میں اپنی بجٹ سپیچ کر رہا تھا تو مجھے وہ کہہ رہے تھے پتہ نہیں 10 دن 15 دن, آپ نے سنا ہوگا کیا اول فال بکرے تھے. میں تو ادھر ہی ہوں اللہ تعالیٰ کے احسان سے, اپنی پارٹی لیڈرشپ کے جیسے اپنے والدین کی طرف سے. وہ نظر نہیں آ رہے, وہ نظر نہیں آ رہے. میں انہیں انوائٹ کرتا ہوں آئیں, ہاؤس میں بیٹھے. جو جس نے قانون اپنے ہاتھ میں لیا ہوگا اس کو ہم کچھ نہیں کہیں گے, اس کو ہم کچھ نہیں کہیں گے, اور کہہ بھی نہیں سکتے جی ہم کا, لیکن جس نے قانون ہاتھ میں لیا اس کے ساتھ ہم سختی سے نپٹیں گے. ہم پہلے بھی نپٹے ہیں, ہم آگے جا کے بھی نپٹیں گے. یہ بہت کلیئر میسج ہے کہ آپ ملک کی سالمیت, ملک کے استحکام کو اس طریقے سے, اور ملک کی ادھر آپ سب کو نو میں یاد ہے وہ بھائی وہ تمہارے کو اس ریڈ بس نے کیا نقصان تمہارا پہنچایا تھا جس کو تم نے جلا دیا, یا تمہیں ایدھی کی ایمبولینس کیا تنگ کرتی تھی, ایدھی کی جلائی تھی ایدھی والی, یا پولیس کی گاڑیاں جلانے میں تمہیں کیا شوق, کیا مزہ آ رہا تھا, تو واٹر بورڈ کی گاڑیاں, تو ان کو نہیں چھوڑیں گے. یہ بہت کلیئر میسج ہے. ہاں باقی سب جو لا ابائڈنگ سٹیزنز ہیں وہ آئیں بیٹھیں ہمارے ساتھ, وہ کچھ نہیں کہے گا. تو یہ اللہ تعالیٰ کا شکر ہے میں ادھر ہی ہوں. آئی ایم ہیئر اینڈ آئی ایم ہیئر ٹو اسٹے. میں آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں اللہ تعالیٰ کی مدد سے اور اللہ تعالیٰ کی طرف سے. میں کنکلوڈ کرنا چاہ رہا ہوں, اور میں چاہ رہا ہوں Mr. Speaker, let us celebrate the achievements of the past 5 years, applauding the transformative impact on the life of common men through natural impediments had enormous diminishing effect, coupled with the trickle-down effect of global economic nosedive, an environment of political and social uncertainty. Nonetheless, there is always a silver lining under dark clouds. Pakistan People's Party has always lived up to the expectations of the people. In return, the people of this great province of Sindh has also bestowed us with the crown of their trust, support and affection. Together, we have laid the foundation of glimmering future, where opportunities are abound and prosperity knows no bounds. As we forge ahead, let us remain steadfast in our resolve, knowing that with determination, collaboration and shared vision, we will overcome any obstacle that comes our way. The journey has been arduous, but the reward will be immeasurable. Mr. Speaker, sir, I pray to Almighty Allah that our land, our beloved country, and democracy be protected from dangers and challenges that we are facing. May democratic forces always rise and shine in this country. May Almighty Allah bestow us with courage and capability to serve the people of our motherland, Sindh, on the vision and principles set forth by our founding father, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Quaid-e-Awam Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and Quaid-e-Jamhuriyat Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. Sir, with the leadership that we have in this country, with the young leadership, I'm sure the next several decades look very bright. وہ جو تھی ہماری جو ہماری اس میں اردو میں لکھے ہوں گے میرے شعر وغیرہ دیکھ لیں گے تو میں جو ہم نے جو دیکھا یہ مشکلات آئی ہیں, مجھے پورا یقین ہے کہ ہم اپنی لیڈرشپ کے اندر چیئرمین بلاول بھٹو زرداری صاحب, پریزیڈنٹ اسمبلی زرداری صاحب کی لیڈرشپ میں اس صوبے کو اور اس ملک کو بہتر فیوچر کی طرف لے جائیں گے, اور بہت بہتر اگلے نیکسٹ فیو ڈیکیڈز. ہم میں سے پتہ نہیں کتنے ادھر ہوں گے, لیکن میں اپنے نیکسٹ جنریشن کے لیے ایک بہت اچھا پاکستان دیکھ رہا ہوں, اس لیے کہ ہمارے پاس وہ لیڈرشپ ہے جو اگلے 30 سے 40 سال تک اس ملک کو لیڈ کرے گی, اور انشاءاللہ تعالی وہ لیڈرشپ ہمیں کامیاب کرے گی. میں اسپیکر صاحب ابھی وائنڈنگ اپ اسپیچ بھی ہوگی, مجھے امید ہے کہ اس دفعہ مجھے کرنے دی جائے گی, اور میں بہت شکر گزار ہوں سارے جو میرے اپوزیشن کے دوست ہیں, انہوں نے تحمل سے سنا. آج بڑا مزہ آیا, آپ کو بھی مزہ آیا ہوگا بہت سالوں بعد کہ ایک اسپیچ چل رہی ہے اور سب بیٹھ کے سن رہے ہیں. جو ایک ماحول پیدا ہو گیا تھا اس صوبائی اسمبلی میں, اللہ تعالیٰ کا لاکھ احسان ہے کہ وہ ختم ہو گیا. ڈیکورم میں سب نے سنا ہے, اور میں ٹریجری سائڈ اور اپوزیشن دونوں کا بہت شکر گزار ہوں کہ آپ لوگوں نے بڑے تعامل سے سنا. اور میں آپ سے یہ ریکویسٹ کروں گا, میں نے پارلیمنٹری افیئرز منسٹر کو کہا تھا کہ آج ہی بات کریں, ہماری 2 دن کی چھٹی ہوتی ہے جو بجٹ کے کیلنڈر میں ہوتا ہے. ٹیوزڈے کو ہمارا سیشن ہوگا. میں چاہوں گا کہ پوری پارٹیسپیشن ہو یہ آپ اپنی تقاریر کریں, کرٹیسائز کریں. ہم کبھی کرٹیسزم سے نہیں گھبراتے, ہم اس سے کچھ سیکھتے ہی ہیں ہمیشہ. کرٹیسائز کریں, جو غلطیاں کی ہیں وہ ہمیں بتائیں, جو بہتری ہو سکتی ہے بتائیں. اچھی تجاویز آئیں گی تو انشاءاللہ تعالی 2023-24 میں پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی کنٹینیو کرے گی ان اچھی تجاویز کو, اور ان ایئرز ٹو کم. تو یہ موقع ہاتھ سے نہ گنوائیں, اچھی تجاویز دیں, اور انشاءاللہ تعالی جیسے میں نے کہا کہ ہم ان تجاویز پہ عمل کریں گے. میں جیسے میں نے شکر گزار ہوں اسپیکر صاحب آپ کا, آپ کے پورے اسٹاف کا. شفیع نہیں ہے ادھر, وہ ریٹائر کر گیا ہے اس لیے نئے چہرے آ گئے ادھر, لیکن آپ کا پورا اسمبلی کا اسٹاف ہمیشہ کوآپریٹو رہا ہے. اور انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ جو اگلے 8-10 دن ہمارے بجٹ کے ہوں گے ان سب میں بھی ہم سب ساتھ مل کے, میں تو کہوں گا صبح 10 بجے سے شروع کریں, رات کو 10 بجے تک تقاریر کریں, سب اپنی اچھی طرح. جیسے آپ نے مجھے اسپیچ کرنے کا موقع دیا ہے, 2 گھنٹے آپ سب اسپیچ کریں, لیکن اس کے لیے ضروری یہ ہے کہ جیسے آج ڈسپلن اور ڈیکورم کا مظاہرہ ہوا ہے ویسا ہوتا رہے. اچھا, میں یہ بھی اپنے سائڈ کے لوگوں کو بھی کہتا ہوں, ادھر بھی کہتا ہوں, کرٹیسزم ہوگا اس کو برا نہیں بنائیں, کریں کرٹیسائز, اور اس میں کوئی بری بات نہیں. ہاں ان پارلیمنٹری نہ ہو, نہیں تو پرابلم ہو جاتے ہیں. اس کی طرف ذرا آپ لوگ دیکھیے گا. اچھا, میں نے جیسے کہا کہ میں نے شروع کیا تھا سردار شاہ کے ایک شعر سے, ختم کر تو چاہیے شاہ لطیف کے, سردار شاہ معافی, شاہ لطیف کے ایکڑے کہتے سا منجی سندھی اردو تمام شعر شاعری کے معاملے تائیں وہ تو انہیں تمام کمزور آئے. کوشش کئی تھم, وہ کوشش انہیں کرے کئی تھم جی مجھے تاکہ بتاؤ آؤں ڈساں پیو تمام جو مستقبل ہے تمام تابناک ہے. مجھے تاکہ بتاؤ صبح سندھ میں استحکام آئے, irrespective of that 5, 10 days, 15 days, it's been almost 5 years we've been here. انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ یہ استحکام جو صوبہ سندھ میں ہے ہم پورے پاکستان میں لائیں گے, پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی میں. اور نہ صرف ابھی ہوگا, یہ میں آپ کو کہہ رہا ہوں کہ آپ کی ہمارے پاس لیڈرشپ وہ موجود ہے. فورن پالیسی میں پچھلے 1 سال میں کیا نہیں ہو گیا, آپ دیکھیں تو صحیح کہ پاکستان جس کو لوگ پہچانتے نہیں تھے, وہ جو ادھر سے بیٹھ کے دول بجاتے تھے اور کچھ نہیں کرتے تھے, آپ نے ہر ایک کے ساتھ اپنے تعلقات خراب کیے تھے. ابھی میں نے سنا ہے جہاں کا جو ابھی میں آ رہا تھا تو ٹیلی ویژن پہ آیا, ابھی چیئرمین بلاول بھٹو زرداری صاحب عراق گئے تھے, اور عراق نے کہہ دیا ہے کہ ویزا فری انٹری ہے پاکستانیوں کے لیے. یہ آپ یہ ٹریلر نہیں دیکھ رہے ہیں, یہ جو 1 سال کا ٹریلر ابھی دیا ہے یہ انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ اگلے 30 سے 40 سال اس ملک کو لیڈ کر کے آپ کو دکھائے گا. اور ہم میں سے کچھ لوگ ان کے ساتھ ہوں گے, کچھ ان کی ساتھ دیتے ہوئے ضرور رہ جائیں گے, لیکن ہم ہمیشہ کوشش کریں گے. میں انشاءاللہ جب بائنڈنگ اپ
take
تو میں کہہ رہا تھا، میں بتا رہا تھا کہ انشاءاللہ تعالی ہمارے ملک کا فیوچر بہت تابناک ہے. بلاول بھٹو زرداری صاحب کی لیڈرشپ میں ہم اس ملک کو پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی بدلے گی، اور جو ہمارے ساتھ ہوں گے ہم تو کہیں گے ساری پولیٹیکل پارٹیز ساتھ مل کے اور اپنا اپنا رول ادا کریں اور اس ملک کو اور بہتر کریں. میں جیسے میں نے کہا کوشش کروں گا کہ شروع کیا تھا سردار شاہ کے شعر سے اور شاہ عبداللطیف بھٹائی، اسی مناسبت سے جو میں نے ابھی بات کی آخر میں اس سے اگین کچھ غلطی ہو جائے تلفظ میں معافی چاہوں گا. اللہ کھر جین، اللہ کو کہہ رہے ہیں اللہ صحیح، کھر یعنی بدنیت لوگ جئیں، بندیوں جنہیں من میں یعنی برائیاں جن کے دل میں ہوں، بدنیت لوگ جن کی برائیاں دل میں ہوں وہ بھلے جئیں. اساں ای پرن جوں یعنی ہم اور ہمارے دوستوں کی امیدوں پسند، ہماری امیدیں بھر لائیں، یعنی امیدیں بھر لائیں. انشاءاللہ بلاول بھٹو زرداری اس ملک کے وزیر اعظم بنیں گے اور اگلے 30-40 سال میں دیکھ رہا ہوں ان کو. اور شاہ صاحب کہتے ہیں تہاں پوئے مرن سڑی نے سور میں، جس کو جلنا ہے وہ جلتا رہے. انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ بلاول بھٹو زرداری اس ملک کے وزیر اعظم بنیں گے. انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی اس ملک کی خدمت کرے گی. میں اس کے ساتھ ساتھ اپنی آج کی بجٹ سپیچ ختم کرتا ہوں اور سب سے جیسے میں نے کہا امید رکھتا ہوں کہ اگلے 7-8 دن جو بھی یہ بجٹ جو کہ اس سے کنسٹرکٹیو بجٹ کے پروپوزلز دیں تاکہ ہم اگلے سال میں انشاءاللہ جب الیکشنز کے بعد اور بہتر کام کر سکیں. ویسے تو ہم جولائی اگست میں کریں گے، اس کے بعد پھر کنٹینیو کریں گے. آپ کا بہت بہت شکریہ. جی بھٹو، پاکستان زندہ باد.
I think ہمارے ایکٹنگ لیڈر آف دی اپوزیشن بھی ادھر ہیں تو ہی ول ان کو میں نے ایک اپنا شرط رکھی تھی کہ اگر آپ اس سیٹ پہ بیٹھیں گے اور ایکٹر بنیں گے ایز اے لیڈر آف دی اپوزیشن ٹیمپرری تو ان کو 3 گھنٹہ بولنا پڑے گا، کیونکہ وہ پہلے جو تھے ہمارے لیڈر آف دی اپوزیشن وہ 3 گھنٹہ بولتے تھے. تو اگر آپ کو 3 گھنٹہ بولنا ہے تو پھر تو آپ اس سیٹ پہ بیٹھ سکتے ہیں. ہاں نہیں تو ویل ایکسپیکٹ چلے 3 گھنٹہ نہیں گھنٹہ بول دیں، چلے جو بھی ہے وٹ ایور، بٹ اٹس ویری نائس آف ہم. وہ روز آتے ہیں یہاں کے بیٹھتے ہیں اور کوآپریٹ کرتے ہیں. So we hope that next week we'll be all working on the budget and جو بھی آپ کے پاس ہے، جو آپ نے مواد بنایا ہے وہ آپ گورنمنٹ کو بتائیں گے، گورنمنٹ آپ کو ضرور جواب دے گی. انشاءاللہ بجٹ بھی پاس ہو جائے گا، بہتری بھی ہوگی اور آگے پھر ہم موو کرتے رہیں گے. Now the house is adjourned to meet again on
یہ ڈائلاگ ہے بٹ دیر از نو فائنانس بل. ہم کوئی نئے ٹیکسز، میں یہ بتانا بھول گیا تھا کہ یہ بجٹ ہے وتھ نو نیو ٹیکسز. انشاءاللہ تعالیٰ ویل اچیو our targets with the existing tax regime that we have.
Okay, now the House is adjourned to meet again on Tuesday, the 13th June 2023 at 10 a.m.